On a Tuesday morning last October, a woman named Rachel stood in the hallway of her Columbus, Ohio townhouse, looking down at a small puddle of cat vomit on the rug for what she later estimated was the 200th time in 2 years. Her cat, a 7-year-old orange tabby named Biscuit, had thrown up roughly once a week since 2023. And Rachel did what almost every cat parent in America does. She cleaned it up, told herself that cats just do that, and went to work. 10 months later, Biscuit had lost 1.5 pounds. Rachel had spent $2,800 on an ultrasound and blood work, and the recommendation that finally stopped the vomiting was sitting in her pantry the entire time. It cost about $2. If your cat throws up every week or every few days, and somewhere along the way you decided that's just how cats are, I want you to let go of the guilt right now. You are not alone, and you were not careless. You were told by the internet, by friends, sometimes even by well-meaning people at the pet store, that weekly vomiting is normal feline behavior. What if I told you that feline specialists, including the veterinarians at Cornell's Feline Health Center, have been pushing back on that exact myth for years, and that chronic vomiting is one of the most commonly ignored early warning signs in cats? And what if I told you that for a large share of these cats, the fix is 1 teaspoon of a single plain pantry ingredient, and that many owners see a visible change within about 3 days? In the next 25 minutes or so, I am going to walk you through why cats actually vomit, the exact ingredient and how to serve it so even a picky cat eats it, a day-by-day 3-day protocol, 2 free feeding changes that stop the classic eat and immediately throw up pattern, and the 5 red flags that mean you skip everything in this video and drive to the emergency vet tonight. And I'll warn you now, one of the 3 cats I'm going to tell you about today did not get better with the pantry fix, and what her owner discovered instead might be the single most important part of this entire video. Stay for that one. It could add years to your cat's life. Here is exactly what I'm going to walk you through today. Promise number 1. The truth about the "it's normal for cats to vomit" myth, including the actual frequency line that separates a routine hairball from a warning sign, because there is a specific number. And most owners have never heard it. Promise number 2. The exact pantry ingredient, which is 100% plain canned pumpkin, the commonly used starting amount for an average 10-pound cat, and the serving trick that gets picky cats to actually eat it on the first try. Promise number 3. The full 3-day protocol, day by day, including exactly what you should expect to see in the litter box on day 1, because that's your first proof it's working. Promise number 4. The 2 feeding changes that cost you nothing and stop the scarf and barf pattern, where a cat eats and throws the food right back up 10 minutes later, completely undigested. And promise number 5, the 5 emergency red flags, the situations where pumpkin is the wrong answer and the only right answer is a veterinary emergency room, because I will never hand you a home remedy without also handing you the honest danger list that goes with it. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the Pantry Vet. I'm a veterinarian, and this channel exists for one reason. Most of what keeps pets healthy doesn't happen in a clinic. It happens in your kitchen, on your couch, and in the 5 minutes a day you spend actually looking at your animal. Chronic vomiting cats are one of the most common cases that walk through a general practice door, and they are also one of the most preventable. Everything in this video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own veterinarian, who can put hands on your actual cat, always gets the final word. Now grab a notebook, because this is a full masterclass and we're doing it in chapters. Let me finish the story I started. Biscuit is a 7-year-old 10-pound orange tabby, indoor only, adopted from a Columbus shelter in 2019. Starting around 2023, he began vomiting about once a week. Sometimes it was food. Sometimes it was yellowish liquid on the hardwood at 5 in the morning. Sometimes it had hair in it. Rachel searched online, and nearly every result told her some version of the same thing. Cats vomit. It's what they do. Hairballs are normal. Don't worry unless it gets worse. So she didn't worry. For 2 years. And here's the thing I need you to hear, because this is where the guilt relief is earned. Rachel is a good cat parent. She feeds a quality diet. She keeps up on vaccines. She notices things. The myth is just that strong. It's repeated so often, in so many places, that a loving, attentive owner can watch a warning light blink once a week for 2 years and genuinely believe the light is decoration. Then, in August, Biscuit skipped breakfast. That was new. Rachel weighed him on her bathroom scale, holding him and subtracting her own weight, and got a number that stopped her cold. He was down from about 10 pounds to roughly 8.5. She booked a vet visit the same day. Blood work came back mostly unremarkable. The ultrasound, which was the bulk of that $2,800 bill, showed mild thickening in the intestinal wall, consistent with chronic low-grade irritation, the kind of change that can develop when a gut is inflamed and unhappy for a long time. No tumor, no blockage, no kidney disease. The internist's plan had several parts, but one of them was almost embarrassingly simple. Add soluble fiber to the diet. Specifically, about 1 teaspoon of plain canned pumpkin with meals. And fix the way Biscuit was eating. Within 4 days, the vomiting stopped. Not slowed, stopped. At his recheck 8 weeks later, Biscuit had regained most of the weight, and Rachel asked the question that I want to put at the center of this entire video. She said, "If a teaspoon of pumpkin was the answer, why did I spend 2 years being told this was normal?" That question is why you're watching this right now, because Biscuit is not unusual. Feline medicine specialists have argued for years, in published clinical work on chronic vomiting cats, that vomiting more than about once or twice a month deserves attention, and that owners and even some professionals write it off far too easily. Some of those researchers have gone further and said that even so-called normal hairball vomiting, when it's happening frequently, often has an underlying cause worth finding. So here is the frequency line I promised you, the one most owners have never heard. An occasional hairball, once or twice a month in a shedding season, is one thing. Weekly vomiting, week after week, is not normal cat behavior. It is a pattern. And patterns have causes. Your cat isn't being dramatic and isn't just doing cat things. Your cat is sending you a message in the only language available, and today you're going to learn to read it. Write this down, because if you understand this one mechanism, everything else in the video will make sense. Most chronic weekly vomiting in otherwise healthy adult cats comes down to some combination of 3 things. Hair moving the wrong direction, food moving too fast, and a gut that has lost its rhythm. Let's take them one at a time. First, hair. Your cat spends somewhere around a quarter of her waking hours grooming, and every lick pulls loose hair onto a tongue covered in backward-facing barbs. That hair goes one place, down. In a healthy digestive tract with enough fiber moving through it, most of that hair gets swept along with the food and exits in the litter box, and you never see it. When there isn't enough fiber, or when gut movement is sluggish, hair lingers in the stomach, tangles into a mat, irritates the stomach lining, and eventually the stomach does the only thing it can do with an irritant it can't pass. It sends it back up. That's your classic hairball, and here's the reframe. A hairball on the carpet isn't hair behaving normally. It's hair that failed to exit the correct door. Second, speed. Cats in the wild eat many small meals a day. A mouse here, a mouse there, each one about the size of, well, a mouse. A house cat given 1 or 2 big bowls of food often inhales it, especially in multi-cat homes where there's competition. A cat's stomach is roughly the size of a ping-pong ball. When a cat gulps a large volume of dry food in 90 seconds, that kibble hits the stomach and starts absorbing moisture and swelling, and the stomach frequently rejects the whole delivery. That's the scarf and barf, the pile of completely undigested food, often tube-shaped, 10 or 15 minutes after eating. If that's your cat, I have very good news coming in Chapter 4, because it's often the easiest pattern of all to fix. Third, rhythm. The digestive tract is essentially a long muscular conveyor belt, and that belt is regulated in part by fiber, water, and the gut bacteria that feed on fiber. Many modern cat diets, particularly all-dry diets, are relatively low in the moisture and the specific soluble fiber that keep the belt moving at the right speed. When the belt slows down, things sit. When things sit, they irritate. When they irritate, they come back up. And this is exactly where pumpkin comes in. So let me explain why this particular pantry item earns its reputation instead of just telling you it's magic. Because I don't do magic on this channel, I do mechanisms. Plain canned pumpkin is mostly water, with a meaningful amount of soluble fiber. Soluble fiber does 2 jobs at once, which is rare. It absorbs water and forms a soft gel that helps sweep hair and debris along the conveyor belt toward the litter box instead of letting it mat up in the stomach. And it acts as food for beneficial gut bacteria, which is why veterinarians reach for it in both directions, for constipated cats and for cats with loose stool. It's a regulator, not a laxative. It nudges the belt back to the right speed. For many chronically vomiting cats, whose real problem is hair plus sluggish transit, that nudge is the whole fix. It's also why Biscuit's internist, with an ultrasound machine and a full lab at her disposal, still wrote pumpkin on the discharge sheet. Now, one honest caveat before we go further, because I promised you honesty over hype. Pumpkin fixes fiber problems and transit problems. It does not fix kidneys, thyroids, pancreases, food allergies, or swallowed hair ties. That's why this video has a chapter on red flags, and why one of the 3 cats coming up in the next chapter didn't get better with pumpkin and needed something else entirely. Fiber is a tool, not a religion. Keep watching. I want to give you 3 cases because your cat is probably one of these 3, and each one teaches something different. Cat number 1 is Mango, a 3-year-old, 11-pound male tabby in Tucson, Arizona. Mango lives with 2 other cats, and Mango eats like the food is being repossessed. His owner, Dave, described the pattern perfectly. Breakfast goes down at 7, and at about 10 minutes after 7, there's a neat pile of completely undigested kibble on the tile, and Mango is standing next to it, looking mildly interested in eating it again. That happened 3 or 4 times a week. Notice the details because they matter. Fast eating, undigested food, minutes after meals, multi-cat competition. That is textbook scarf and barf, and the true underlying issue is speed and volume, not disease. Dave's fix, which I'll give you the full version of in the next chapter, was to feed Mango separately from the other cats, spread his food flat on a dinner plate instead of piling it in a deep bowl, split his daily portion into 4 small meals, and add 1 teaspoon of plain pumpkin to the wet portion. The vomiting stopped inside 3 days, and at last report, Mango has thrown up twice in 4 months, both classic hairballs during spring shedding. Cat number 2 is Willow, a 5-year-old Maine Coon in Portland, Maine, about 13 pounds of cat and what looks like 6 pounds of fur. Willow's pattern was different. Her vomiting was weekly, but it was almost always hair. Damp, matted, cigar-shaped hairballs, usually in the morning, usually on the one rug in the house, because that's apparently a universal law. Her owner, Marissa, brushed her maybe once a month. Willow's problem was pure volume of hair meeting a gut that couldn't keep up with it. Her fix was pumpkin, a teaspoon with her evening meal, plus a 2-minute brushing session every single night during a specific TV show, which is a habit-stacking trick I'll come back to. Within about 10 days, Willow's hairballs dropped from weekly to roughly once a month, which for a long-haired breed in shedding season is a genuinely good outcome. The lesson from Willow is that for long-haired cats, pumpkin pushes hair through from the inside, but the brush removes it before it ever goes in. And you want both ends of that equation working. Cat number 3 is the one I warned you about. Duchess, a 12-year-old domestic shorthair in Sarasota, Florida, owned by a retired schoolteacher named Carol. Duchess had started vomiting about weekly, and Carol, who had seen a video like this one, started the pumpkin protocol and started a log, which is the part that saved everything. Because the log showed her what the pumpkin alone never would have, the vomiting improved only slightly, and the log captured 2 other things Carol might never have connected on her own. Duchess was drinking noticeably more water, and her weight, checked weekly on a baby scale, was drifting down, even though her appetite was fine. Carol took the log to her veterinarian, and blood work found early-stage chronic kidney disease, one of the most common conditions in senior cats, and one where increased thirst, weight loss, and intermittent vomiting are often the very first visible signs. Because it was caught early, Duchess started on a kidney support diet and monitoring, and cats caught at that stage frequently do well for years. Caught late, the story is very different. So here is the payoff of the loop I opened at the top of this video. The pantry fix didn't help Duchess, and that failure was the diagnosis. When a fiber-responsive problem doesn't respond to fiber, that is real information, and it's exactly the information your vet needs, which is why the protocol I'm about to give you starts before any pumpkin touches any bowl with a log. Especially, and I mean this, especially if your cat is over 10 years old. Step 1. Run a 72-hour vomit and habits log before you change anything. Take 3 days and write down, every time your cat vomits, what time it happened relative to the last meal and what came up. Undigested food, hair, clear or yellow liquid, or foam. Also note, once a day, roughly how much water your cat is drinking, what the litter box looks like, and whether appetite and energy are normal. If you have a baby scale or a luggage scale and a carrier, get a weight. 2 minutes a day, total. Here's why this step is not optional. First, it tells you which of the 3 patterns your cat has: Mango's, Willow's, or Duchess's. Second, if the pantry fix doesn't work, this log becomes the most valuable thing you can hand your veterinarian. A dated, specific 3-day record will tell your vet more than 20 minutes of trying to remember. Carol's log is arguably why Duchess is alive. Step 2. Buy the right pumpkin and serve it the right way. You want 100% plain canned pumpkin, where the ingredient list says one word, pumpkin. It's in the baking aisle of any American grocery store for around $2 a can. Do not buy pumpkin pie filling. Pie filling contains sugar and spices, sometimes including nutmeg, and those do not belong in your cat. Check the label twice because the cans look nearly identical. The commonly used starting point that many veterinarians suggest for an average 10-pound adult cat is about 1 teaspoon once a day, mixed thoroughly into wet food, working up to a teaspoon twice daily if needed. For a small or petite cat, start with half a teaspoon, and yes, run the amount past your own vet, especially if your cat has any existing condition, because your vet knows your actual cat and I don't. Now, the picky cat trick, because cats are cats. Don't drop a cold spoonful on top of the food like a garnish. Most cats will look at you like you've insulted their family. Instead, let it come to room temperature, mix it fully into a strongly flavored wet food so it disappears. And if your cat is truly suspicious, start with a 1/4 teaspoon for 2 days and build up. An opened can keeps in the refrigerator for about a week, or you can freeze it in an ice cube tray and thaw 1 cube at a time, which turns a $2 can into nearly a month of doses. Step 3. Kill the scarf and barf with 2 free changes. This is promise number 4, and it costs you nothing. Change 1. Ditch the deep bowl. Spread your cat's food on a flat plate or a saucer. A deep bowl lets a cat take huge mouthfuls. A flat plate forces smaller bites and slows the whole meal down, and for a lot of cats, this single change ends the vomiting by itself. If your cat is a true vacuum cleaner, a puzzle feeder or slow feeder, which runs about $10 at Chewy, PetSmart, or Petco, slows things down even further. Change 2. Split the portions. Take the same daily amount of food and divide it into 3 or 4 small meals instead of 1 or 2 big ones. Remember the ping-pong ball stomach. Small deliveries stay down, big deliveries come back. If you work all day, an inexpensive automatic feeder handles the midday meal, or simply do breakfast, after work, and bedtime. And if you have multiple cats, feed the fast eater in a separate room with the door closed. Because competition is rocket fuel for gulping. Step 4. Support the 2 ends of the hair equation. Water in, hair out. Add a second water source somewhere away from the food, because many cats drink more when water isn't next to their meal, and some drink dramatically more from a pet fountain. More water means better transit, and better transit means hair keeps moving in the right direction. Then, if you have a medium or long-haired cat, brush for 2 minutes a day. Not a weekend grooming marathon, just 2 minutes, stacked onto something you already do every evening, the way Marissa did with Willow. Every pinch of hair on the brush is hair that will never need to come back up on your rug. Step 5. Know your 3-day timeline, so you know if it's working. This is promise number 3. Day 1. The first thing you'll usually notice isn't about vomiting at all. It's in the litter box. Stool often becomes softer, better formed, sometimes with visible hair in it. That is the conveyor belt starting to move, and it's a good sign, so check the box on purpose. Day 2. For many cats, the vomiting episodes shrink or stop, and cats who are doing the morning yellow liquid routine often skip it. Day 3. This is your checkpoint. For a fiber-responsive cat, a cat with Mango's pattern or Willow's pattern, you should see a real, obvious difference by now. And by the end of a full week, the weekly vomiting should essentially be gone. And here is the honest flip side. If you've done all of this correctly for a full week, the plate, the small meals, the pumpkin, the water, and your cat is still vomiting on the same schedule, stop adjusting and book a veterinary visit, and bring the log from step 1. At that point, the pantry has told you what it can, and what it's telling you is that this isn't a fiber problem. That's not a failure. That's a cat parent catching something early, exactly like Carol did. Before we get to the red flags, I want to give you one bonus skill, because this is the single question your veterinarian will ask that most owners can't answer, and answering it correctly can change the entire direction of a workup. The question is this: is your cat vomiting or regurgitating? They look similar on the rug, but they are completely different events. Vomiting is active. You'll see warning signs first: lip licking, drooling, crouching, and then rhythmic heaving of the belly before anything comes up, and what comes up is often partially digested or liquid. Regurgitation is passive, no heaving, no warm-up. The cat lowers its head and food simply comes out, usually seconds to a couple of minutes after eating, usually undigested, often in a tube shape. Why does this matter so much? Because vomiting points at the stomach and intestines, while regurgitation points at the esophagus, the tube above the stomach, and those are entirely different problem lists with entirely different tests. Here's the advanced move. The next time it happens, don't reach for the paper towels first. Reach for your phone and take a 10-second video. I'm serious. A 10-second phone video of the actual event is worth more to your veterinarian than 10 minutes of description, because you'll never have to remember whether there was heaving. The one caveat: if what you're seeing is repeated, unproductive heaving with nothing coming up, don't film that for long, because that one belongs in the next chapter. Red flag 1: repeated vomiting in a short window, or a cat who can't keep water down. A cat vomiting 3, 4, 5 times in a day is not a weekly pattern problem, it's an acute problem, and cats dehydrate fast. Same-day veterinary care. Red flag 2: blood. Red streaks or material that looks like coffee grounds, which is digested blood. Emergency room tonight. Red flag 3: string. If you see thread, ribbon, tinsel, or a hair tie in the vomit or hanging from your cat's mouth, and this is critical, do not pull it. Linear foreign bodies can anchor under the tongue and saw through the intestine as the gut tries to move them. Leave it exactly where it is and get to an emergency vet immediately. Red flag 4: unproductive retching, especially with a swollen or tense belly or a cat who is restless and can't get comfortable. Heaving with nothing coming up can signal an obstruction, and an obstructed cat is a surgical emergency where hours matter. Red flag 5: the quiet ones. A cat who is vomiting and also hiding, lethargic, or refusing food. And hear me on this, a cat who stops eating for more than about a day to a day and a half is its own emergency, even without vomiting, because cats can develop a dangerous liver condition called hepatic lipidosis shockingly fast when they stop eating. Cats do not do casual hunger strikes. And one bonus red flag for the season. If there is any chance your cat chewed on a lily, any part of a lily, even pollen licked off fur, that is a life-threatening kidney emergency in cats, and you should call ASPCA, Animal Poison Control, at 888-426-4435 and head to an emergency vet immediately. Don't wait for symptoms. With lilies, waiting is the mistake. None of those 5 situations gets a pantry fix. Everything else in this video is for the stable, bright-eyed, eating and drinking cat with a weekly pattern. That distinction is the whole game, and now you know how to make it. So let's put it all together. If your cat throws up every week, that is not a personality trait, it is a pattern with a cause. For a huge share of cats, the cause is hair, speed, and a sluggish gut, and the answer has been sitting in the baking aisle for $2. 1 teaspoon of plain canned pumpkin, a flat plate instead of a deep bowl, 3 or 4 small meals instead of one big one, more water, a daily 2-minute brush, and a 3-day log to prove it's working. And if the log says it isn't working, or if your senior cat is drinking more and weighing less, you take that log to your veterinarian and you may catch something early enough to matter, the way Carol caught Duchess's kidney disease with years to spare. This video is education from a vet who wants fewer cats vomiting on fewer rugs, but it is not an exam, and it never replaces your own veterinarian's hands on your own cat. If you have a friend, a parent, or a coworker who says, "My cat just throws up a lot, it's fine," send them this video. Because "it's fine" is exactly what Rachel believed for 2 years. If this masterclass helped you, hit the like button so it reaches the next worried cat parent, and subscribe to the Pantry Vet, because every week we take another expensive, stressful pet problem and solve as much of it as honestly can be solved from your own kitchen. Your pantry is the first line, your vet is the last word, and I will see you in the next one.